Well, good morning, everyone. This is DirectNet Clinic with Dr. Roger Mochigamba and Byron Hewley, a very knowledgeable expert when it comes to healthcare insurance. And Dr. Roger, when you told me that we need to get Byron on our show, why did you have that on your mind? Tell us what is so interesting to hear about what Byron has to offer.
Yeah, perfect. You know, we offer a membership model called Direct Primary Care in our clinic, and that is affordable health care, which is directly given to individuals and employers who sign up for this service. But what we offer in the clinic is access to a doctor. It is not insurance. So we frequently get people ask us, well, what if I need to go to the hospital? Or what if I need a specialist? Or what if I need this surgery or something like that? Um, so there's a need for a higher level of care because obviously our clinic's not a hospital. So that's why I'm so fortunate to have found Byron a few years ago, who kind of is in a position to fill that gap for people that need insurance. But the type of program that Byron's going to talk about today is affordable. And so that's why I wanted to have Byron come on and visit a little bit about this plan, because I'm always telling people that there are affordable options to healthcare out there. One of them is direct primary care, which we do in our clinic, and another option is something like Byron does. So that's exactly why I'm so excited to have Byron here with us to talk a little bit about um, what he does.
How does it work, Byron? Let us know.
So actually, I had the pleasure of meeting Dr. Roger through a group of direct primary care doctors. And at the time, he was actually looking for coverage for his business. And if I remember correctly, we were looking at Blue Cross Blue Shield of Texas. It was about $350 per employee. He was going to have to pick up about 50% of that cost, and it had an $8,700 deductible. And I didn't see that that was something that was usable for his employees. So I brought this solution to the table, which is actually a high-end indemnity product. But just to kind of tell you a little bit about this and maybe educate the people that are watching the video, there's basically three types of insurance that people get. And what it comes down to is who's the actual beneficiary of the policy. Now, major medical, with major medical insurance, which is what most people know of as insurance. This is what you get through the marketplace, through Obamacare. This is typically what you get through your employer. It's where you pay a premium, but that premium goes to pay the provider, the hospital, the doctor, the pharmaceutical company for their financial loss. Now, in this case, they basically are benefiting from those premium dollars. The second type of insurance is what's called indemnity. That's an insurance that pays you directly, but you have to pay the provider up front. Typically, these policies are usually used as supplemental policies because you have to pay that money up front. So a lot of times you don't have thousands of dollars. So what you'll do is you'll get a major medical plan, and then you'll get AFLAC, which will pay $500 a day if you're hospitalized. Now, the third type is what's called an indemnity policy, but it also has a PPO network that's associated with it, where those doctors and hospitals can get paid just like they would with major medical. But more importantly, you actually control those dollars. It's not going to somebody else, and then all of a sudden you have to try to figure out how you're going to pay the rest of your bills. So that's what we have with Dr. Roger, and it's a phenomenal plan.
Well, I know I enjoy it, and a lot of my staff have used it, and they enjoy it. And what's fun about it is when we go to the doctor, instead of us having to pay a copay at the office, we get a check back after the office visit. And so that's why it's that's why we all like it.
Yeah, and that's the cool thing. So with this plan, it works like healthcare plans worked before the Affordable Care Act, before Obamacare, where they do take your health into consideration. There may be some limitations as far as pre-existing conditions. A lot of times that usually fixes itself after the first year or so. So if you're generally healthy, you don't have to worry about those things. But because of that, these plans are typically 40 to 60% less expensive. You can go to any doctor that you choose, and there's no co-pays, co-insurance, deductibles for basic routine care. It's designed to keep you healthy. So they want you to go to the doctor because you have that high blood pressure, or because you have, high blood sugar or high cholesterol, that kind of thing, because they want to catch those problems early. Because the idea is if they don't have to pay for a heart attack, they don't want to pay for a heart attack. So, the beautiful thing is a lot of that care can be had 100% paid for. And a lot of times you actually get a check back in the mail for anything that was an overage on that policy.
Right. And, that's what we promote all the time at Direct Med Clinic is that, let's lower the barriers to care so we can prevent any, chronic conditions from developing, and we can manage the chronic conditions that people already have.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And if people will just do two simple things with this policy, and again, it's not for everybody. You do have to either stay in network, and if you do stay in network, you usually get up to a 70% discount. It's actually built in. It's already negotiated with the doctor. Or the other thing is you have to ask the doctor what their cost is going to be prior to getting that treatment or service. And if you do those two things, you know exactly what the plan's going to pay, and you can manage those dollars in a way that can be advantageous for you and your family while getting the care that you need.
Sometimes, Byron, folks want to kind of shop around for health, right? Mm-hmm. And so if that kind of person is listening to this, would this be a good fit for them?
So it's really going to depend. With any type of insurance, the only thing we're talking about when we talk about with insurance is money. Doesn't matter if it's health insurance, car insurance, disability insurance, life insurance, or health insurance. It's all just money if you suffer a financial loss. So really what we want to look at is what is the best option for you? Sometimes with major medical, part of your compensation through your employer is they pay 80 to 90% of that cost. And if that's the case, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to go out and buy something on your own and pay full price when your employer is going to subsidize the cost of your care if you get it through your employer. So we really want to look at every situation individually. Having said that, dollar for dollar, there's not a better coverage that I know of in the market. In fact, it's how I protect myself. It's the coverage that obviously you have over at Direct Med Clinic, and friends, family, all of them have this plan because it just makes sense.
Right. I was visiting my son and daughter-in-law a couple of months ago down in Corpus, and I looked over on the counter and there was some EOBs, and I said, "Oh, that looks familiar." And yeah, I they're on the plan as well, and I can see they're getting checks back. So they're a young family, and I gave me a good feeling to know that they're taking care of my granddaughter, who is, a precious jewel in my life. And they're also using this as a financial planning tool in a way, right?
Right. Absolutely. I had just recently, back in December, I had a family member who had to use this. Again, most people on this plan are generally healthy, so we don't see a lot of like cancer or heart attack. I mean, I had one guy who had a heart murmur. He had to have a heart valve replacement, which was a pretty major surgery. He ended up with like $33,000 in his pocket and everything paid for. Having said that, something that's actually close to home to me is I had a family member. She had a urinary tract infection, ended up turning into a kidney infection, and ultimately got sepsis. Well, she spent 5 days in the hospital, and she had to have surgery on her kidney. And when we really did the math and sat down and broke it out, had she had a major medical plan, which is what she came to me about before we got her onto this coverage, she would have easily paid about $35,000 that year between your premiums and out of pockets for the family. with this plan, she had everything paid for, all of her premiums paid for, and still ended up putting over $8,000 in her pocket for the year. So, I mean, that's almost a $42,000 difference just by selecting the right plan and getting the coverage that's appropriate for the situation that she was in.
Right. So those kind of examples is exactly why I wanted to have you join us. So we're always talking about affordable access to care. And so now our listeners can see why this is another option that people just need to know about.
Yeah. And I think it all starts with education. A lot of people don't know what they're paying for. And with major medical insurance, I've had the privilege of working with third-party administrators that actually build these plans for large employers. What I know is mathematically, these major medical plans on the fully insured side, you're going to have to pay the first $10,000 to $25,000 before they take a dime of somebody else's money to help pay for your care. So if you don't know that going into it, if you think that somehow they're covering the cost of your doctor visits and your labs and your imaging, you're sadly mistaken, because that's coming out of your pocket. It's being paid by your employer. It's being paid by the government, but it's not being paid for by the insurance company. That's for sure. So when you actually start looking at this and you stop looking at it from the sense of fear and confusion and actually start looking at it from the standpoint of math and logic, which is how it's designed, then you actually can do some amazing things, because you fill in those financial gaps that you may be experiencing just in case you have something crazy happen. Sickness, injury, disability, your house burns down, your car gets into an accident, that kind of thing, so that you don't have to go broke. Right.
Now, Dr. Roger focuses a lot on also helping small, medium, large employers throughout the nation. How does this work with an employer if they wanted to combine that with DirectMed Clinic?
So there's a couple ways that you can do it. Again, all of this insurance is just money. So this is money that can go to help pay for DirectMed Clinic and the services that are rendered there. You can also use this as a standalone policy and then use DirectMed Clinic as the doctor. The cool thing with that is, and correct me if I'm wrong, Dr. Roger, you'll go out and actually help people to find low-cost labs, low-cost imaging, maybe even at wholesale prices. So with this policy, even though you're paying Dr. Roger as a separate fee, when you go to see Dr. Roger, he's actually helping you save money, and that money is being paid back to you by the insurance company. So, you might pay a $10 copay whenever, or a $10 fee whenever you go to see Dr. Roger, but this plan might pay you $160 because you made that visit. So, it's actually going to pay, for every step of the way.
Well, I'll give you an example. Last month, I had to go get an x-ray. So I actually had the visit through my clinic, and our clinic has, like you said, discount pricing contracted with imaging facilities around town. So I had my visit, paid the discount x-ray to the clinic, and then I went to get my x-ray and didn't pay them anything there at the facility, and had my x-ray. Everything was fine. And then this week I got a check back for $240.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
So what it
works. Yeah, I mean, I like that a lot, because as an individual who takes care of their health, now you get, in a way, rewarded for doing that. And I think it's a very strong psychological hack, if you will, to make time for these things. Because I know for myself, I'm guilty of procrastinating and always postponing my checkups or whatever. Because it's just, that's how humans are. They don't want to do the things that take time, and of course we get our reward by staying healthy and by always knowing where we are at. And then here there's like an additional incentive, really, and it's just so powerful.
Really, just to kind of speak to that, so any type of insurance that you have, really the thing that you're protecting is you. It's your ability to make money, and it's your adversity of spending money. So, I don't want to have to replace my house if it burns down. So I buy a homeowner's insurance for $165 a month, where I can pool my money with a whole bunch of other people. If my house burns down, they pay for it, right? As far as like, your disability insurance, your health insurance and stuff like that, this is all to make sure that you protect your number one asset, which is your ability to make money. So if ever there's a situation where you get cancer, you become disabled or something like that, if you didn't plan with that insurance, well, now you have to front all that money yourself. You've taken all of that risk on by yourself. So that's the thing I love about insurance, is it's a small check. And if you do it the right way, it's a small check and it pays a really big check if something crazy happens. And that helps to protect the fact that you need to make a living and you need to pay your bills. So that's really what it's going to do for you.
Well, where can people find you, Byron, if they want to kind of have a one-on-one with you to discuss more?
So the easiest way to find me, I put together a link tree that I use for my clients. It has a ton of different links on there to help them save money and stuff like that. But then also you can schedule appointments with me. It's linktr.ee/healthcare links. Again, it's Linktree. It's linktr.ee/healthcare links. And there's a bunch of different resources on there to help protect yourself. There's quoting tools if you're looking for different types of insurance. More importantly, if you're shopping for insurance, there's a bunch of stuff on there for that as well.
Okay. Well, we have another link to talk about, and that's the one that goes down in the ticker here. Dr. Roger, you have a webinar that is very, very specific for employers and teaches them how they can incorporate and include everything that you do and how that works in detail and why that's good for employees and how that saves money. So definitely go to link.directmedclinic.com/employers to take advantage of that as well.
Exactly. Very good.
Awesome. Well, are there any final thoughts before we let our viewers go?
I just want to say there are affordable options for access to healthcare.
Yep. There's absolutely affordable options. What I will say is, unless somebody else is paying for it, the government or your employer, you really do need to take a look at these plans. You need to own your insurance. More importantly than that, this can make a huge difference in your life if you really understand this stuff and you take advantage of it. I tell people all the time, insurance can help you grow a fortune, it can help you protect a fortune, and it can cost you a fortune if you don't know what you're doing. So you definitely need to be educated about this stuff. I do have a Patreon that I'm putting together, and I'm going to have some classes on Healthcare 101, Insurance 101, Money 101, so that people better understand this stuff and they can keep more of their hard-earned money in their pocket. So
Great idea.
reach out to me if you want to some more details on that.
Excellent.
Great idea.
Well,
Well,
thank you so much, Byron, for joining us today.
I appreciate you having me.
yes, thank you. And I will tell our viewers the most important thing is you're not alone in this. You have people who want to help you, guide you, a doctor, a healthcare advisor. So definitely make sure you reach out. That is really, if you remember one thing, is reach out and ask for help. Again, this was Direct Med Clinic with the weekly lives, and we'll be back for sure next week or this week on Thursday. We have to check, but definitely stay tuned on this channel and have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye bye.
Bye now.
Take care, everybody. Be safe.